Devastated, Susan snapped. With a feral cry, she lunged at Sophia, slamming her to the ground and wrapping her hands around her throat. Anger boiled in her veins, drowning out reason. But Sophia didn't struggle. Instead, she smiled, calm and calculating, like a predator waiting for its prey to collapse from exhaustion. Before Susan could register the chilling expression, a powerful force yanked her back. She hit the muddy ground with a painful splash, cold water soaking her already drenched body. Breathing heavily, she lifted her head, only to see him. Jacob rushed to Sophia's side, his face twisted with worry. He gently helped her to her feet and removed his coat, draping it protectively over her trembling frame. "I'm fine," Sophia whispered, shivering in his embrace. "But check on Susan. She's just upset about losing the bidding." Susan let out a strangled laugh, raw and bitter. Check on her? Was this another performance for Jacob's benefit? His face contorted with disgust as he turned toward her. "Why are you still defending her?" he snapped, his voice shaking with anger. "Look at what she's become. So heartless, attacking her own sister?" His gaze pinned Susan to the ground, his teeth clenched in contempt. "I can't believe I ever liked you." That's it, she thought, her heart fracturing for the last time. Susan's breath hitched, her eyes burning with unshed tears. She stared hard at Jacob, searching for a trace of the boy she'd once loved, but all she saw was a stranger. "You're right," she hissed, venom lacing her words. "I regret ever liking you too. I must have been blind." His expression darkened instantly. "Say that again. Not only did you break the bidding rules, but you can't even see the truth right in front of you." Susan's voice cracked from the force of her rage. "Do you really think she came up with that design on her own?" She staggered to her feet, drenched and trembling, but defiant. "You knew it was mine. You knew, but you protected her anyway." Jacob's jaw clenched, guilt flickering in his eyes for the briefest second before hardening into cold anger. "I don't care if you love her," Susan spat, her voice shaking. "But why did you have to destroy me just to help her succeed? You're both disgusting." Smack. His hand connected with her face, snapping her head to the side. The sharp, searing pain exploded across her cheek as she crumpled to the ground. But it was nothing compared to the ache hollowing out her chest. Where was the man who had promised to protect her forever? Where was the man who had sworn he had no feelings for Sophia? Where was the man who had begged her to wait for him? Just days ago. Her trembling fingers brushed her stinging cheek as she fought back tears. "Fool. Good thing I never believed you," she thought bitterly. "I didn't have the courage to." Jacob narrowed his eyes, disdain hardening his features as he stared down at Susan's battered form. "Don't think everyone's as vile as you," he spat bitterly. "I know how hard Sophia worked. She stayed up countless nights creating that design. Sure, she started late, but she's talented." His words hit like jagged shards of glass, cutting deeper than the sting on her cheek. "Everything that happened today, you brought it on yourself." His voice lowered, almost pitying. "Realize your mistakes and start over, before it's too late." With that, he scooped Sophia into his arms as if she were something fragile and precious. She nestled into his chest with practiced ease, her face hidden from view. Susan watched, frozen, as Jacob carried her toward the waiting Lamborghini. The car roared to life and sped into the distance, leaving Susan behind. Again. The last flicker of hope she'd clung to died at that moment. Any lingering feelings she'd once harbored for Jacob dissolved into something darker. Hatred, pure and unwavering. A mocking voice shattered the fragile silence. "Oh, you poor thing." Susan stiffened as James approached, sheltering himself under a sleek black umbrella, his lips twisted into a cruel smirk. "The mighty young lady of the Drew family," he drawled mockingly. "Once untouchable now. Just a pitiful has-been." Her body trembled, not from fear but from sheer exhaustion. She didn't spare him a glance, her soaked frame moving mechanically toward her car. James's voice followed her like poison in the wind. "Uncle Noah and Aunt Luna will hear about today's incident," he called out, his tone gleeful. "They already favor Sophia, you know that. Don't bother crawling back to the Drew family." His laughter echoed as she yanked the car door open with trembling fingers. Slam! The door shut with a jarring finality. His words weren't news. They were just another cruel reminder of what she'd always known deep down. No one cared. No one ever had. And that, she thought bitterly, her fingers tightening around the steering wheel, will be their greatest mistake. That evening, Ethan returned home from work. In the past, even if Susan was busy, the house was always filled with warmth. The soft glow of lights, the mouth-watering aroma of a home-cooked meal, and the comforting sight of her bustling about the kitchen, preparing dinner with quiet focus. But tonight, there was only darkness. He flicked on the lights, his gaze immediately landing on the small, crumpled figure curled up on the couch. Susan. Her disheveled hair framed a face marked by sorrow and exhaustion. Her normally vibrant eyes were hollow, her expression lifeless, defeated. It felt strange seeing her like this. She had always appeared so fierce, determined, and untouchable. A woman blazing with energy and passion. What happened? Ethan shrugged off his coat, tossing it carelessly onto the couch. The bidding didn't go well? His voice was neutral, almost casual. Failing once isn't a big deal. You're still young. Her head snapped up, anger flaring in her tear-stained eyes. I'm allowed to be deceived like a fool because I'm young? She spat. People like you, at the top of society, you don't care about anyone's feelings, do you? A flicker of annoyance crossed Ethan's face. He assumed she was venting her frustration, projecting her failure onto him. With that attitude, he said coolly, failure serves you right. Susan's fists clenched as fury and heartbreak warred within her. That's right. I'm a failure. My biggest failure was trusting you. Her voice cracked, but she pressed on, refusing to break in front of him. He might not love her, but she was still his wife. At least on paper. Even so, he had played her like a fool. Ethan's eyes narrowed, irritation simmering beneath his composed exterior. Don't bite the hand that feeds you, he said coldly. You wouldn't have even made it into the bidding if I hadn't helped you. If I'd known you were going to act like this, I never would have bothered. Susan let out a bitter, hollow laugh. Thank you so much, she hissed, pushing herself to her feet. I beg you, stay out of my life from now on. Her voice was sharp, cutting through the silence like broken glass. Ethan's jaw clenched, anger flashing in his dark eyes. For the first time, he wasn't just furious. He was disappointed. He had thought she was different. After seeing her designs, he had believed she was exceptional. But talent meant nothing if she couldn't handle failure. The world was full of talented people. Stronger, better, more resilient ones. One failure and she had crumbled. He despised people like that. Remember what you said. His voice was low, dangerously calm. Starting today, I want nothing to do with you. Don't bother cooking for me. It'll only make me sick. Without another glance, he grabbed his coat and walked out, leaving behind only the deafening echo of a door slamming shut. An eerie silence blanketed the room as the last rays of the sun disappeared into the encroaching darkness. Susan's mind was numb, her thoughts swirling in a haze of defeat and despair. The suffocating stillness became too much to bear. I need to get out of here. She grabbed her coat and headed toward the nearest bar. At the bar, the bartender slid a few bottles of beer across the counter. Susan popped one open and took a long, burning gulp. She'd never liked drinking before. It dulled the senses, turned thoughts into mush, but tonight she welcomed the escape. Her hazy gaze drifted toward the dance floor, where young, carefree people swayed under flashing lights. Life used to be easy. Her chest ached at the memory of simpler times, a life untouched by betrayal and loneliness. But that was another world. Another Susan. Her vision blurred as she downed the last of her beer, oblivious to the sharp eyes watching her from the shadows. In a dimly lit corner, a figure quietly dialed a number. Ruth, he murmured, voice low and smug. Guess who I just saw? Who? Susan Drew, he drawled, drinking alone, still just as beautiful as ever. Ruth's voice turned icy. That bitch. The humiliation of being thrown out of the restaurant last time still burned like acid. The social circles of California's elite had mocked her mercilessly since. She clenched her fists, hatred rekindling. She had heard about Susan's downfall at the bidding earlier, but that wasn't enough. She wanted to crush her completely. An idea sparked into her mind. Zane Larson, She purred darkly. Are you still interested in her? Zane chuckled crudely. Not really, but she always looked down on me in school. I wouldn't mind seeing her beg for forgiveness. Ruth smiled wickedly. Consider it arranged. As she whispered the details of her plan, Zane's breath quickened, anticipation gleaming in his eyes. Are you sure about this? Relax. Her tone was cool and calculating. Susan has no one on her side anymore. If something happens, the Drew family will be even more eager to cut her off. Zane's lips twisted into a malicious grin. All right, I'll perform well tonight. At the clubhouse. Ethan sat at a private dining table, absently spearing a piece of chicken on his plate. He took one bite but quickly lost interest. The taste was wrong, bland, flavorless, nothing like Susan's cooking. You should have just gone home, Daniel grumbled, pushing his empty plate aside. Your home-cooked meals are legendary. Tell Susan to cook you something. Don't mention her name again, Ethan snapped, his expression darkening instantly. Daniel raised an eyebrow. What'd she do this time? His face shifted with sudden recollection. Wait, today was the bidding, wasn't it? I said don't bring her up, Ethan growled. Realizing he'd hit a nerve, Daniel dropped the subject, for the moment. After a while, his phone buzzed. He glanced at the screen, frowning slightly. Sebastian Langston from Langston Corporation is in the private room next door. He wants to discuss that tech project. You handle it, Ethan said coldly. I'm not interested in mindless meetings. Suppressing a sigh, Daniel left to meet Sebastian. 20 minutes later, Daniel returned, visibly tense. You'll never guess who was in the next room. Ethan didn't look up. I'm not in the mood. Jacob Smith. Daniel's voice turned serious. And President Sawyer from the Technology Center? Ethan's eyes narrowed. Jacob Smith? Daniel nodded grimly. He's also Sebastian's cousin. The word is, he's engaged to Sophia Drew. Next month. Ethan stilled, processing the tangled web Daniel was weaving. Jacob, Sophia, Sebastian, and Drew Corporation won the bidding, Daniel continued. When you connect the dots, don't you think it all seems a little too convenient? Ethan's jaw tightened as realization hit him like a thunderclap. Drew Corporation played dirty.
Hey amazing viewers, it's Susan here. Thanks for sticking with us. By the time of the release of this video, only 11% of our viewers have joined the party by subscribing, and 89% of you might miss out on our next mind-blowing video. So, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button and join the exclusive club.